Hey, good morning, good evening, whenever you're watching this. So, this is the first day of our 2 weeks together. We're going to be on here on Zoom for 10 days, but it'll span over a couple of weekends or one set of weekends. So, if I hope you guys can be live, that's the best way to do it for accountability purposes, right? But if you can't for one of the days, you can catch the recording. I did send out an email this morning that has the details to the shared Google Doc. You'll just see the recording in there. And excuse me, feel free to find that and check it out or just rewatch it. So the purpose of this, I know a few of you have been on the ones where we've done 30 days together. This is just strictly 2 weeks. We're going to do 10 days together. And we're going to focus on one particular tool that we have not focused on before. And it's going to be all about creating a sense of ease in yourself and around you. So I think almost everyone that's going to be watching live or the recording is familiar with this tool, but maybe doesn't use it as frequently as we use others. Because some of you guys have been with me for a long time. So you may have just kind of gotten away from this tool. And some of you are very familiar recently. So when you think of the word ease, how does that feel to you and your body? What words or description comes to mind? And you can say it out loud or you can put it in the chat, whatever's most comfortable.
Relaxed and as well, but energized.
Perfect.
Peaceful.
Okay. So that's all of those are exactly what we're going for. I actually don't necessarily get a word as much as I can just feel my body. I can feel my face begin to loosen up. I can feel my neck loosen up. I feel my shoulders instantly drop. My shoulder blades release a bit. So, and that's what will happen. The more that you practice this tool, the more sometimes I can just say the word ease and my body will go into formation in that way. So what we're looking for is exactly what Barbara and Jen described. We want an active ease. We want an active calm because we're going to bring ourselves into coherence, which means that our brain can operate in synergy. So our entire body is operating at a place of absolute coherence. Our physical body, our hormonal body, our immune system, our nervous system are all working in an optimal performance. And what that allows us to do is to go from tunnel vision when we get hyper focused on something to more of an aerial view. And it also allows us to create a coherence, a balance between the sympathetic nervous system and the parasympathetic nervous system. You don't have to fully understand this, but I know some of you guys like the details. Some of you just like the feeling, and that's great, and you've seen a shift. So the sympathetic nervous system, just think of it as your heart speeding up. It's that good old-fashioned fight, flight, flight, fawn, right? So we're getting chased by a tiger, except in current days, we don't have to be chased by a tiger to feel that way. Sometimes it's driving in traffic. Sometimes it's somebody at Publix we're reacting to. And it all stems from behaviors that we've experienced our whole lives, right? Mostly from childhood. So these tools can help you absolutely shift those baselines. And we can do that. We can talk about that in later places. But right now, this week, we're just going to use this tool throughout our day. We're going to use this tool to identify and adjust when we find ourselves feeling really exhausted. We're going to use this tool to widen our perspective. So I'm going to walk you through the first experience, and then I'm going to give you guys more visual details on what we're going to do over the next 2 weeks. And each day we meet is, for the most part, we're going to jump right into the breath work, into the heart. And then I may give you a little something after that. And then on certain days, depending on timing, we'll have time for just a little bit of brief coaching or questions. Okay. So this, I think everybody listening to this is familiar with it, so I don't even need to go into much detail. So we're just going to bring our attention to the area of the heart. You can put your hand over it if you please, if that pleases you. And just begin to slow your breath down a little deeper than usual as well. And begin visualizing that breath going in through your heart and out through your heart. The goal of this is to create a matching rhythm in and out. If it calls to you, if it helps you, you can add a matching count in and out. Maybe it's a 3 count in and out. Maybe it's a 5 count in and out. And now begin to activate and sustain that sense of inner ease. And we're going to do this for a couple more minutes, and I'm going to keep track of that time for us. And this is a good time to listen to anything your heart has to share with you. And part of this process is, if I hope you guys have a pen and paper with you. I forgot to remind you. If you don't, go ahead and grab one. When you listen to the heart, having integrity to follow through with it is really vital. And so anchoring that in by writing it down is a very important part of the process. Okay, so what just happened in your body is the heart sends 80 to 90% of the communication up to the brain, and the brain sends 10 to 20% of the communication out to the body, meaning solely created from the brain or solely created from the heart. So when we can communicate through the heart, and we can do that by putting ourselves into a space of coherence, which means that we're finding that sweet space in our autonomic nervous system between the sympathetic nervous system and the parasympathetic. So we covered the sympathetic nervous system. The parasympathetic nervous system, just think of your kind of parachuting down. You're calming down. You feel at ease. You feel balanced. Your body's going to work a little slower, a little more relaxed. And what we do in coherence is we find that sweet spot in between the two. And that's why when we use inner ease, it's an active calm, meaning that we can take action if we need to, but we're also extremely calm so that we can be more efficient and more effective. So to give you an example, this is really vital for people in the medical field, emergency folks like firemen or police to use this, because it's going to allow them not only to recharge their inner energy battery, but it's going to give them more clarity. It's going to give them a wider perspective. It's going to increase their efficiency, their effectiveness, even their creativity, and reduce mistakes.
Mm.
So how can we use this in our regular everyday life? Inner ease is something that I use when I'm feeling a time crunch, when I'm feeling rushed, when I'm feeling a lot of pressure. It doesn't have to be done for 2 or 3 minutes or 15 minutes. It can simply be done for a few seconds or a minute. It's something that can be done throughout your day to really shift and reset yourself. So what are some examples of when you could use this in your daily life? If you think about shifting and resetting.
Oh,
It's okay. Yeah. Feel free to answer, or I can answer, whatever.
I think it would be beneficial all the time. At least for me. I mean, there's moments I feel ease, but I really find to be able to pause before engaging or even driving just to set my tone before I leave the house.
Absolutely. Those are great ones. So I want you guys to write down a couple of different things that you can think of in your schedule. Maybe somebody sits at their desk a lot and they go from meeting to meeting. And so in between each meeting, they could quickly take a minute, a few seconds, go into the heart. Maybe for me, I like to use it when I'm in traffic. I use it in the mornings if I'm running late. I use it before I go into a physical place, like if I'm going into work, if I'm going into the salon, if I'm going into a situation where it requires me to be kind of on, I'll use it. I will use it in the middle of hectic situations. I'll use it when I'm in a situation that isn't hectic. I'll use it in a situation where maybe I'm feeling a lot of joy and I just want to make sure that this can become a familiar experience for me. So when we communicate through the heart, we're getting what's called a coherent signal. So let me give you guys a visual. This should be a refresh for just about everybody, but so when we are incoherent, meaning that maybe we're feeling angry, maybe we're feeling stressed, we're going to have a heart signal that's sending something similar to this. And this is what I'm drawing here is the overall visual of the distance between each individual heartbeat. Okay. It's called heart rate variability. So nobody's in danger here. And then when we're in coherence, we've got nice rolling hills. So on your pen and paper, I want you to go ahead and draw each one of those. Not exact, you get the point. The top is going to be herky jerky. It's going to have edges, and the bottom is going to have rounded edges. And then let me know which one feels like it would relate to inner ease.
Bottom.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And so I believe everybody on here has either used a training device or the app on their phone. If you haven't, let me know. I can send you the app where you can actually get a visual of this in real time. So what this provides us is a visual of your coherence level. And again, it's the time in between each individual heartbeat. So what happens when we begin to breathe into the heart and breathe into the heart, drawing attention and energy to it, is it sends a signal up to the brain. So for instance, the amygdala is going to decide, is this familiar or is this unfamiliar? And so if you're in a situation that typically, let's say you're trying to shift a pattern. Okay, let's say you're trying to shift the way you react to, I don't know, a coworker. We'll pick something simple, even though that seems difficult a lot of times. Instead of going for like a childhood pattern, we'll just pick something simple. If you want to shift that reaction, the best, quickest, easiest way to do that is to begin breathing through the heart. Every time you think about that person, every time you're around that person, because it begins to send communication to the brain that this is familiar, even if it's not. It goes through the thalamus. The thalamus is going to sort the information, pass it out through the brain. And the brain begins to tell you that it's safe. So that you can receive and experience this information, this interaction with this human being, without necessarily going directly to fight or flight. Now, this is no different than going to the gym and wanting six-pack abs. It requires discipline. You got to use the tool, and not just 1 or 2 times. It's something that, you know, if you want six-pack abs, are you going to have to go to the gym every day? Yeah, for the most part. Are you going to have to be aware of what you're eating? Yeah, because you got to let those abs actually show through, right? So it requires discipline. The more you use it, the more clarity and the more results you're going to see. Simply breathing through the heart is one tool. Adding in that inner ease is another tool. So here's another visual that I think many of you guys have seen over time. Some of you, it's been a long time. So this is when we talk about recharging our inner battery, we're talking about taking control. Or I'm sorry, maybe you are taking control, but you're really just being in awareness of what is draining your battery and what is recharging your battery. So emotions are the biggest component of that. This is like the gas. If you run out of gas, you will run out, you'll be exhausted, your body will turn on itself, you'll start developing all your autoimmune diseases, etc. So this graph, I'm going to walk through it a little bit. On the left side, I'm going to use this little heart. On the left side, you're going to see all the depleting emotions. And there's hundreds more. This is just to give you an example. On the right-hand side, you're going to see all of the renewing emotions. This line here, the vertical line or horizontal line, is going to give you an example of the 1,400 chemical reactions that are happening in the body. So we're using 2 hormonal descriptions to show you that. So on the depleting side, cortisol, we all know that cortisol builds up stomach fat. And then on the right, we're using DHEA. That's the anti-aging vitality hormone. And this middle line is that autonomic nervous system that we've spoken about. Down here at the bottom is parasympathetic. Remember, parachuting, calming down, and the sympathetic nervous system speeding up, fight or flight. None of this is right or wrong. This is not for you to sit in judgment of yourself. Oh my gosh, I was down in this left-hand corner all day. Gosh, I hate when I do that. That's not what this is for. This is for you to identify where you are charging your battery and where you are depleting your battery, because all of us are going to touch all of this on a regular basis. So over the next 2 weeks, it's really about identifying where you're spending your time on the emotional landscape map right here. If you want to take a picture of it, feel free. If you want to write it down in your own language, feel free. So if I find myself feeling guilt, shame, sadness, where do you think that would fall on the emotional landscape map here in front of us?
depleting.
Mhm. And do you think it would be in low heart rate, so parasympathetic, or high heart rate?
Low.
Yep. Now, sure, shame might be combined with some anxiety, so that might be a little higher heart rate. It really, all of these can kind of be moved around. If I'm feeling exhilaration, would that be high heart rate or low heart rate?
High.
High. And would that be renewing my energy or depleting my energy?
Renewing.
Right. So that would be recharging my energy or giving me a stockpile. There's a lot going on around us these days. And so the more that we can pay attention to what is depleting us or renewing us will make a big, big difference in the energy and what we choose to do with ourselves. If we have enough energy to go for that walk or work out at the end of the day. I mean, I can't be trusted to work out at the end of the day. I'm a morning person, but you get what I'm saying. It's whether, oh, do I have enough energy to go meet with my friend tonight after work? Do I have enough energy to go meet a friend in the morning before work for coffee? Do I have enough energy to go spend time with my family and stay clear-headed? So for the next 10 days, your job is to pay attention to where you fall on this emotional landscape map. Are you draining your battery or are you renewing your battery? And then to use a tool to stop the drainage. So we have two tools. We have simply breathing in and out through the heart, a little deeper and slower than usual. Or we have inner ease. So we're going to, again, breathe in through the heart a little slower and deeper than usual. Really visualizing that breath going in through the heart and out through the heart, and then activating that sense of inner ease. Is it going to completely shift the scenario from feeling completely burnt out or from feeling terror or anger? No. Is it going to help stop the energy drainage? Yes. And I'll give you guys an example of that tomorrow. Do you guys have any questions or anything that you want to share in regards to this? Anything that I can do to make it a little clearer or anything?
I want to thank you, Jamie, and I'm definitely looking forward to the 10 days.
My pleasure. I'm glad you're here. Can you guys hear my cat? She's screaming at me.
No.
No.
Next Friday is the 4th of July. So
Okay, we'll finish off on the 4th of July.
not sure if I'll be getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning to join you, but I have hope for myself. I will be energized by that time.
Well, you know what? We can always check in on Thursday and see how everybody feels. And if we don't need to do 6:30 that Friday, we won't. Because I know the other couple of people that are watching the recordings, they don't need to be up at 6:30 either. So thank you for that reminder. We can check in on that for sure.
Well, thank you.
Okay.
This is great.
My pleasure. Barbara, since you are familiar with this, is this a good reminder for you?
It's funny that you brought up Publix earlier because I was at the grocery store and I was frustrated because somebody was coming in the exit. And I was like, I wasn't just annoyed that the person was doing something, but I was annoyed that the person was making me feel annoyed. And so this is like a tool to like check in with myself when I'm feeling super frustrated or whatnot, that I am not a passive participant in my life, that I can choose a path for myself that is less stressful. I can choose to react. I can't control what's happening around me, but I certainly can control how I choose my energy level to feel that day.
That's right.
So thank you.
That's all right. Do you want to take a minute and go into the heart real quick about that?
Sure.
Okay, so let's go into the heart and breathing a little slower. So just putting your hand over your heart if it calls to you, and just visualizing that breath going in through the heart and out through the heart, a little slower and deeper than usual. And just activating that sense of ease. And now just ask your heart if it has any guidance for you on that, on those types of situations or that particular situation. And then write down whatever comes to you. And if you feel like sharing, go ahead. If you don't, that's fine too.
Give grace both to myself and others. Guy was just trying to get through a busy transaction, and I was just trying to, it was like the flow of my energy was interrupted. And I'm grateful that I was able to like quickly reset myself by just looking inward and giving myself grace for being awkward at times throughout my day.
Beautiful. Okay. Do you guys have any more questions? Anything you want to contribute? Nope. Okay. All right. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning.
Have a great day.
You too. Bye.